last chance. No beating around the bush.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Blake Production.
Yo, what's poppin' here? So I'm gonna go over a trade idea I had a few days ago. It was on the 6th of January. I posted on my Twitter. I think we got a prime setup here on Mrna. So I'm gonna kind of break down what I see in Moderna and tell you where I entered the trade, what my trade plan was, and things like that. I kind of want to start doing that a little bit more. Because I feel like those could be pretty beneficial. So right off the hop, what I noticed is we have this major trend line where this was once acting as a resistance for us, right? So it came up from $72 and then it made highs of 172, and then that area acted as resistance 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then we ended up breaking over, right? We break over and we back test. That's something key that I like to look for. What that is showing is that there's now flipping of supply and demand. So that's important to see, right? It acts as resistance, or you could think of it's acting as a supply zone. So right now there's a bunch of shares here. You could think, this is just an example, 100,000 shares are here, right? We come back down, we buy up. There's now maybe 75,000 at this level. We come down, there's now 50,000. You get what I'm trying to say. Until we get here, there's zero. We come over. Now it's our demand zone where people want to buy because it's now an area of value. So that's what I'm noticing here. And if this is true, then when we look over further to the right, it should continue to act as a demand, which it looks like it potentially is. So that's the first major thing. We have our supply zone that flips into a demand zone. Alrighty. So we got our resistance support. Another thing I'm noticing here on Mrna is that we have this trend line that's starting to hold us back, right? So this is something I want to pay attention to. It's starting to hold us back. Every time we come up to this trend line, we push down, we push down, we push down. So I just want to mark that there because maybe that's now a trend line that's acting as a resistance. So that's something I want to be aware of. Now, another thing I'm starting to look at is when I look at the RSI, which is the relative strength index, we're starting to create a bullish divergence. Now, bullish divergence is when there is a divergence, which means one thing is happening while the other is doing the opposite. So we have the price decreasing here, right? But the RSI is increasing. So this is a bullish signal that you could look for, right? You could flip it around the other way and pretty much say that if prices are rising on the top, like when prices are rising and the RSI is going downward, that's hinting that there's going to be a downward movement in price again. It's not a guarantee. These are just signals that pop up using technical analysis. So you could kind of use it to, make a system. So I noticed that there's some bullish divergence. We have our resistance that flipped as support, right? So now what I'm looking for is I want to see, so September 6th, I see that it comes down and I want to make sure that this is going to happen, right? So I need confirmation of some sort. I don't want to just blindly go in because I could be wrong. So what I do now is I go to the 15 and the 30-minute time frame. And on those days, so it was the 10th of January, we start to see big push in Mrna with massive volume coming in, right? This is key. So this is kind of hinting to us that there's going to be increase in price coming potentially. So how can I play this now, right? So this is how I played it. I'm watching this 15-minute candlestick chart throughout the day on the 10th. And now that I see this rip up pretty much 10% in a day. So from the lows to the high, it went up like 15%. So I don't want to just buy in because it went up 15%. I want to get a decent price. So for me, the way I thought of it was if I can get in under 229, right? So it came back. I wanted to wait for confirmation that we might be moving upward. So I waited for this candle, and right at 229, I set an alert on my broker to fill me at 229. So that's what happened. Now this is my plan once I'm in my head 229. We'll try to get it right on there. In my head I'm thinking we could potentially come back to this range. We have previous resistance over here, right? So I want to see us potentially come back to this range. Now what I'm risking is I want to see 219 area with large bear volume, because that, in my opinion, is hinting that there's going to be a reversal in the trend. So in my head, I'm thinking 219, I'm going to leave the stock, and that is my signal that, hey, you might be wrong here if it breaks below 219. So I'm waiting to see two things. I want to see large bear volume when it hits 219, and I want to see a flush of price. That is going to signal that I need to exit the trade. I was wrong. So what I'm waiting for here is I'm looking to see, is there a large increase in bear volume? No, the bear volume is decreasing. So that's something that's important, right? That's a good sign for my case because I'm trying to make a bullish play. So we gap down the next day, and in my head I'm thinking, should I sell? But no, because my plan is I want to see large bear volume and a flush below 219. So I'm risking about 4% to potentially gain 12 here. So it's around a 3%, 3 to 1 trade, right? So as you can see, we're choppy. But one thing that is starting to give me a little bit confidence is that we're building. I'm going to remove this now that you guys kind of get my gist of the idea. But what I'm starting to see is that we're building some sort of support at this level here. We come down multiple times, but we keep getting bought up. And then today, at the end of the day, the last 15 minutes, we get large increase in volume, which could be hinting that tomorrow might be a gap up day. We might see this continuation of buying go into tomorrow. Just little things like that are what I'm looking for. Again, this is not a guarantee. Tomorrow it could gap down and then be down here, right? That would probably trigger me to exit the trade. But for the most part, it's looking okay so far. So that's what I'm looking for. These are the kind of signals I'm using that help me enter a trade. Yeah, so that's the Mrna trade idea. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see me like post these pretty much like whenever I see these and I get a signal that verifies in my system like, oh, this could be an opportunity. Sometimes I'll tweet them out. So hit follow me on Twitter if you want to stay posted on those. But I hope this video kind of helped out in terms of showing you that, like, you shouldn't just buy for no reason. Like, make a plan and then stick to it. Peace, guys.